Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary peoples who watch my videos, subscribe to my videos, follow me, whatever it is you're doing. Thank you. Thanks for watching. This is Bronson's By Any Means Necessary Fantasy Football Talk for Wednesday, September 14th. I'm going to do my spikes and yikes for defense special teams for this week, week 2. I do have a little bit of a problem with the experts rankings this week. We'll talk about that. First, let me update you on my life. I got my brakes checked yesterday. Finally got the brake inspection that it's needed for a little while. I knew my brakes were bad. I could hear the grinding. I could hear the squealing. I didn't realize just how bad they were. I have 1 millimeter of brake pad left. It's very unsafe. Very unsafe. So ignorance was bliss. I was driving it around, doing Uber, driving 75 down the freeway. So I'm not driving it. It's currently sitting in my driveway. I can't get them fixed until Friday at 1 p.m. So that kind of puts me in a bind. I don't have a car for today, tomorrow, Friday morning. Didn't have a car. So I didn't get to do any Ubering yesterday. Not going to Uber today. Not going to Uber Thursday. Won't be able to Uber until Friday night. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday are going to be the only days I'm going to be able to make any money this week after only working 3 days last week. So money's going to be tight, which is kind of a problem because I'm going to have to pay. I have the money to pay for the brakes. I have to dive into the stuff that I was saving for moving. So I'm going to be behind on that. I'm going to have to replenish that over the next couple of weeks because I'm planning on going to Tucson. I have a week's vacation coming up, first week of October. This has been planned since last year. That's the way UPS does it. They make you plan your vacation time a year in advance. So last November, I got the first week of May off because that was my birthday week. So that was the priority one to me. I used that to go to Puerto Rico, and then I got the first week of October off because I knew that I think a good time to take a big vacation is going to be after summer ends because summer is the nicer part of the year here, and before peak season starts, which is going to be November, December. So I figured October was a perfect time to take that second vacation. I was planning on going somewhere new, seeing some new places, but now it looks like I'm going to have to go spend it going down to Tucson to find a place to live. And now, over the next couple of weeks, somehow I'm going to have to not only come up with get the money back to do that, to afford that, but also going to have to afford that trip, which is going to be a week long. It's going to be an expensive stay. Hopefully, I have a friend down there. She said I could stay down there for free. I'm going to talk to her, see if she'll let me do that. At least some, maybe not the whole time, say some of the time. That'll help me out a lot. And go down there, see if I can find a place to live, set myself up for the new year, January or something, because I don't want to leave UPS in a bind for peak season. I want to be there for that. I want to make that money. I want to be there for that, and then slow season start in January. I'll move on if it works out that way. But yeah, so my brakes are really bad, and I'm scared to drive my car now, which means that I'm stuck at home today, tomorrow, and Friday morning. I wasn't able to go to work at UPS this morning because I don't have any money on my Uber card because I have 2 separate debit cards. Only Uber and Lyft only accept one of them, and I'm out of money because of my vacation. I'm completely wiped out on I got paid by Uber on my 1 debit card, so I have money for my bills and my gas, which I'm clearly not using. That's the mini blessing in this, is that I'm not going to be out using so much gas by sitting at home, so I'll be saving money. But yeah, I wasn't able to get to work at UPS today because I didn't have money to get a Lyft. I'll get paid from UPS until midnight tonight, and I only know like 3 people. I talked to 3 people outside of work. I have their phone numbers, and one of them lives in Beaverton. He used to give me rides before he moved. He used to live in Gresham, and he was a nice guy before I got my car. He gave me rides a couple of times. Came over from Gresham to pick me up in Vancouver and take me to work. That was really nice of him. And but now he lives in Beaverton, which is a lot farther, way out of the way to come over here to Vancouver. I'm not going to ask him to do that. And the other one lives down in Milwaukee, which is really far. And she's never picked me up. She used to give me rides, from UPS to the airport, which is kind of short because it wasn't too far out of her way. But Milwaukee's far out of the way, Beaverton's far out of the way. The other guy lives here in Vancouver, decently close to me. I texted him last night at I think it was 5, 6 o'clock. He never responded to me, so I had to call in this morning. Most likely Thursday, Friday morning, I'm gonna have to use Lyft, which is, gonna eat into some of my funds. So money is becoming a bit of a situation right now, but I'm not super worried about it. I know that with Uber, once I get my car fixed, I can go out of work as late as much as I want, and get as much money as I possibly can in as short a time as I can. So I'm gonna be okay. Luckily I don't have any bills due between now and 2 weeks from now. So these next 2 weeks, just collect money. But yeah, I will have to pay my rent and try to go on a trip at about the same time. So yeah, I'll figure it out though. But that's the update on my life. I'm pretty much stuck at home here for the next couple of days. I'm probably gonna, put some money on my bus pass and go out, because I can't stand sitting at home all day. I just get bored. It just makes me feel disgusting. Honestly, I want to be out, either making money or enjoying my life. This is not either of those. Put some money on my bus pass, go to the movies. Got movies to catch up on because I didn't watch any movies while I was in Miami. Even though I could have, there was a Regal really close to my hotel. I could have went over there and caught some movies, but that was not the intent of my vacation, was to do things I do at home, So, yeah, I got some movies. There's two new movies this week I want to watch, and then there's still one from last week I didn't catch that I need to see. So I got three movies behind, and again, fresh movies are gonna come out Friday, so I got a couple days to do it. I got all the time in the world right now, but I want to get this video out first. Let's get to it without further ado. I've already wasted 7.5 minutes of your time. Defenses, top 10 defenses per ESPN this week. We got the Packers defense at number 1 versus the Bears. All right, we're going to talk more about that later. Number 2, Rams defense versus the Falcons. Number 3, 49ers defense versus the Seahawks. Number 4, we got the Broncos defense versus the Texans. And number 5, we have the Browns defense versus Joe Flacco, who's going to start a game for the Jets. It's already been announced. So, Browns versus the Jets. Next, 6 through 10. Buccaneers at Saints. 7, Colts at Jaguars. 8, Bengals at whoever the hell is going to start for the Cowboys this week, because it's not going to be Dak. Cooper Rush, last I checked, was still on the practice squad. I don't know who the Cowboys backup is. Do they still have Andy Dalton? I don't know if they do. If they still have Andy Dalton, doesn't really matter though. We'll talk about more about that later. 9, Bills defense versus the Titans. I know the Bills defense is, a stud defense, and they shut the Rams down last week. Should they be higher this week against the Titans? Who knows? 10, Patriots defense at the Steelers. So, yeah, that's the top 10 this week. I got some problems with this list, and we're going to talk about it right now. My yikes for this week, I have three yikes for you off this list, and we're going to start with number 1, Packers versus Bears. I am not a believer in the Packers defense this year at all. They have been a disappointment for years. They didn't look that good. Vikings torched them in week 1, and I know the Vikings are a much better team than the Bears, or at least we think the Vikings are a much better team and a much better offense than the Bears. But the Bears did win last week against a team that we think is decent, right? The 49ers, a defense we think is decent, the 49ers. That may have been some extenuating circumstances, the rain and week 1 jitters, week 1 blues. But still, even if I don't think the Bears are very good, I don't think the Packers defense is very good. There's no way in hell Packers defense is going to be the number 1 defense of the week. It's not it's not my Packers hate. I try to keep my bias out of the fantasy analysis. history just tells me otherwise. The Packers defense is not going to be very good. They haven't looked very good yet. I don't think they're going to be the number one defense in fantasy this week. I could see them being top 10 just because of who their opponent is, but I don't have them in my top 5. Definitely not number 1. 2, Broncos versus the Texans. Broncos are the number 4 defense this week. Broncos didn't look super great against a team that we all think is going to be terrible this year in the Seahawks. They lost that game, and they gave up, 20 points? And the Texans offense didn't actually look too terrible at all against a really good defense in the Colts, or a defense that we think is going to be good in the Colts. The Texans offense looked decent. The Broncos defense looked not so great. So I don't see the correlation there between the Broncos being top 5 defense this week against the Texans. I still think they're in the streaming tier in the top 10, top 12. So if you have them, probably should start them. Probably your best option. But I don't think they're going to be top 5. And then 6, number 3, we have the 6th ranked Buccaneers at the Saints. I want you to keep in mind that even though Sean Payton is not the Saints coach, it is still a Sean Payton offense. Pete Carmichael, the longtime Sean Payton offensive coordinator, is still the offensive coordinator there in New Orleans. Dennis Allen, who's worked under Sean Payton a long time, is the head coach there. So they still have a really lethal receiving core. They still have Alvin Kamara, who is questionable but probably going to play. They still have Mark Ingram, who's one of the better backup running backs. They still have a really good offense there. The only concern is Jameis Winston going to throw a bunch of interceptions or fumbles. That's always a scenario, so that can keep the Buccaneers defense afloat. I don't necessarily hate the Buccaneers defense being ranked at 6. That's just not where I'm going to put them. They're still in the top 10 play for me. I'd probably have them closer to like 7, 8, 9. So they're not. I don't think they're that far off. I know I'm nitpicking at this point, but I had to pick a third one because I didn't want to have like 4 spikes and only 2 yikes. Even though that would kind of change the narrative of me being such a negative person if I had twice as many positive things to say as negative things to say. But I just like 3 is just a number that I like. I like whole numbers. I like 5s and 0s, 5, 10, 15, 20s, things like that. And then I like 3 also. So 3's a good small number. So 3, 5s, and 0s. Those are the things I kind of try to work with in my maybe slightly autistic brain. For the spikes, so I got 4. See, it was going to be 3 and 3, but there was just 4 that I liked. So I came up with the 4 that I liked, and I was like, I only have 2 bad ones. I don't like this scenario. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, so I went 4 and 3. So there's an explanation for 4 spikes. Browns defense at number 5 versus the Jets. I know they're already considered the top 5 defense this week, so it's harder for them. It's hard for me to nitpick and say that they should be ranked higher, but they should. Joe Flacco's at this point in his career is an awful quarterback, and the Browns defense has a lot of talent. The Browns defense looked pretty good against the Panthers, but who knows Baker Mayfield better than the defense he used to face in practice all the time, right? So that was probably a perfect storm scenario for them. But I do believe in the Browns defense this year. I do think that they're going to be top 10, top 12 for the year. I really believe in them this week against the Jets. So I have them higher than 5, so that's why they're in my spikes section. Next, we got the Bengals at 8 versus the Cowboys. We have no idea who the Cowboys quarterback is going to be this week, and the Cowboys are the only team in week 1 that did not score a touchdown. So their offense is not looking great, and they have a backup quarterback. That's a perfect storm scenario for the Bengals here. I have the Bengals as a top 3 play this week. 8 is way too low. And then at 11, Steelers versus the Patriots. Steelers defense versus the Patriots. The Patriots defense is at number 10. The Steelers defense is at number 11. I think the Steelers defense is a top 10 play this week against a Patriots offense that looked terrible last week, and Mac Jones is hurt. So even though Pittsburgh's not going to have TJ Watt for this game, I do think the Steelers defense is still good enough to have a really good day against New England. New England could very much be seen and facing a 0-2 hole here early in the season. I like the Steelers defense a lot. They're in my top 10. And then lastly, a defense that's not even ranked in the top 20, the Saints against the Buccaneers. I know, it's Tom Brady, right? Buccaneers high-powered, high-octane offense. Saints probably are going to struggle, right? But if you look historically at this Saints versus Buccaneers matchup since Tom Brady has been in Tampa Bay, Saints defense has pretty much had their way with Tom Brady. Tom Brady has struggled immensely against the Saints over the last 2 years. Will that change this year? I doubt it. He's only getting older. He's still great. I'm not denying that he's not great. But for some reason, the Saints have his number. And let's keep in mind, Tom Brady did not look great in Week 1. He really did not. So maybe, hopefully, all of us football fans who want Tom Brady to go away, hopefully age is finally catching up with this guy. So I'm rolling with the Saints defense this week. I think they're still a top 12 play for me. So in 12-team leagues, they're still a defense that you want to roll with. And I think they're going to have a much better day than anticipated against Tom Brady. So yeah, that's it. The Bills. I think the Bills defense against the Titans. I'll talk Bills defense real quick. I know that they were outstanding in Week 1. They're everybody's picked to be the number 1 defense in fantasy this year, and I see no reason. I've seen nothing so far to indicate that won't be true. Especially as their guys get healthy. Tre'Davious White is still out. He's going to be back at some point. As their rookie corners, Kaiir Elam and I already forgot the dude's name. The 6th round pick from Villanova, who is a starter. They're only going to get better with experience. That defense is only going to get better as the year progresses. And the Titans' passing game looked terrible last week, right? So, Bills, I think 9 might be a little. I'm pretty good with them being at 9, just because of the fact that the Titans have Derrick Henry, and they're going to run the ball a lot. And I don't see the Bills capitalizing on a whole lot of turnovers in that game. They might keep the scoring low. They might not give up a whole lot of passing yards, but fantasy defense points are usually, you get points from turnovers, and I don't see a whole lot of those happening. So the Bills will stay afloat by keeping the scoring low, possibly. But the Titans' offense is capable of putting up points. So it's a tough. Ranking the Bills' defense this week is tough, so I'm just going to leave them at 9, like the experts have. So I don't know. I didn't even really need to talk about that. That just wasted another 2 minutes. But oh well. I do what I want because I'm a grown man, an American, and I don't like to do what people tell me to do. So I'm going to end this now. I think since I have nothing better to do for the next couple of days, I'll probably pump these videos out here in the next 2 days. And yeah, peace, love, and nacho fries. Good luck with your picking your defenses this week. Good luck in your matchups. And as always, I'm open for lineup questions and criticism. If you want to tell me I look like a 55-year-old man, I guess that's normal on social media right now. So have at it. Have a good day.